I'll be here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you again for joining this day 5 of the Owning Your Abundant Life Summit. As I tell you each evening, I am just grateful and appreciative of the fact that you choose to spend this hour with us trying to improve and make good on your best life. This evening, again, we are at it. We have an amazing presentation lined up for you. But if it's your first time, I just want to do a little recap and bring you up to date with what we have been doing so far. We started this summit on Sunday, where we had Dina Overland, a spiritual life coach, who used for a topic from from pain to joy. Excuse me. She shared just 4 steps how we can find happiness after facing, just challenge after challenge in our day-to-day lives. And it is indeed possible that we can use those stumbling blocks as stepping stones in our lives. Life doesn't have to end there. On Monday, we had Gabby Meredith. She too is a life coach. She works with mothers. She shared her own story of how she just lost herself when she became a mother. She wasn't as good a wife as she thought she was. It was just so self-absorbing, so much so sometimes she felt just lost. She wished for the life before motherhood. But she used an awesome meditation that she shared with us, a meditation that she has used to center herself and to embrace life in its fullest. Just slow down and enjoy the process. On day 3, yours truly, I share with you just how I chose to rewrite my story, make it a revised edition. The first copy, I didn't want it to end like that. I didn't want to be remembered as the university dropout, as a disgraced church girl, as another single mom statistic. I used all that and I revised that first copy, and I'm living an abundant life. I'm happier. I am operating from a place of wisdom and of purpose. Yesterday, we had Chanel Bullock, a relationship coach, who just challenged us to, you know, be the kind of person that we would want to have a relationship with. She spoke about the law of attraction, where, likes attract like. Avoid persons who only withdraw from our love banks. I love that. If they're not depositing, if you're not feeling fulfilled after an encounter with any person, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a girlfriend or just a dude you're cool with. If you're always just leaving drained from that encounter, you really don't need that. And she highlighted ways of how we can break free from such toxic relationships. Today, we have Dr. Susaye Rattigan. Susaye is a clinical psychologist. She's a branding strategist. Am I getting all this correct? And she's a copywriter. She works with entrepreneurs. Where's my notes? Who, you have that business venture, you can't get it out. You have an idea, it's not so clear, but the ideal outcome you want. You want to make money. So she is this go-to person who gets you clear. I remember one encounter with her, and I felt like I was in a hot seat. It was thrilling. I was sweating, but she was asking me everything I needed to know. Because if I didn't get it clear, then my clients wouldn't get it either. So she is amazing with just pulling it out of you, just getting you to understand and operate from that part of purpose. So today it is with extreme joy and pleasure that I invite and I welcome once more. I just welcome all of you to this day 5 of the Owning Your Abundant Life Summit, and I present to you Dr. Susaye Rattigan.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, I'm really excited to be here, to be sharing to be sharing with you. My audio just went out. Okay. All right. Great. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about what if this is it? What if this is it? That your life as you know it, that your business as you know it is all that there is, and it's not getting any better. All right. So I wanted to start with a quote by Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God. Now, Neil Donald Walsh wrote in one of his books called, I think it's called It All Matters, that 98% of all the people on the world are spending 98% of their time doing things that don't matter. 98%. That's a really big statistic and largely accurate, I believe. Now, what happens when we're spending 98% of our time doing things that don't matter is that we run into fears and doubts and feelings of inadequacy and feelings that we're not enough and that this isn't it, that this couldn't be it, and there has to be more and there has to be better. And then we enter this wheel, this cycle where we're constantly seeking and constantly searching and looking for the things that make us more and the things that other people can affirm about us and who we are and what we stand for. And we get lost, right? So we're told that we have to go to school, get educated, and we have to find a husband, we have to have a child, get a house, get a job, and get maybe a new husband, new wife, new job, new car, move up into the neighborhood, and we're constantly going after and seeking things that we're told will make us feel good or will make us good enough. And at some point, we wake up and we realize that we're not happy, that we're not experiencing the abundance that we think that we would after we've chased all of that stuff, that our relationships are not fulfilling, that our businesses are not prospering or they're not coming out in the way that we think that we wanted them to. We're not experiencing fulfillment, right? And so we go back. Some of us go back. Some of us stop and realize that, yeah, this is not it. And then we go back inside ourselves and we reconnect with who we are and with God or the universe or whoever our higher power is. And then we realize that throughout our lives, throughout our journey, that we were only making a trip back to who we truly are, right? So today I wanted to talk about that process, right? And about one specific practice that you can use to help you to get reconnected with yourself. And then I'll share with you a three-step process to create the life and the business that you would like. And I'm going to touch on a little bit why some of the things that we think are the worst things are often the best things that can ever happen to us. And just how to maintain our sanity and our sense of abundance as we go through this life. Right. So, okay. I'm Susaye, as Yushania introduced, and my core belief is that we are here as souls on this journey to show each other that we are transcendent, divine beings, and that we have a purpose and a value here on earth. And just to show everybody that they're meaningful, right? And so the anticipation is that if we can really connect with ourselves and really connect with God and be able to be transcendent in ourselves, then we can spark that in other people, who will spark that in other people, and eventually get the whole world on the same page of feeling reconnected, right? Connection is really, really huge. But oftentimes we look at our lives, we look at the daily state of our lives, and we think, wow, okay, is this all that there is? So I want to start by challenging you to ask yourself, what if it is? What if this really is it? This really is all there is. It's not getting any better. You're not going to become a millionaire. You're not going to marry Idris Elba. you're not going to win the lottery. What if this is it? And what if this is all that you have and this is all that there will be? How does that change your perspective on what you have right now? How would that change the way that you view the relationships that you have in your life? How will that change the way that you view your interactions with your children, your role as a parent? How does that change the way that you create, the way that you produce, the way that you devise plans for your business? How does that change it? What if this is it? This is the best that there is. This is all that there is. It can be no different. Just sit with that for a second. What does it mean that this is all there is? That this moment, this process, that this product, this relationship, this child, that this is all that there is. What does that mean? Right? Now, I can hazard a guess that for a lot of us, if we knew that this is it and that this is all that there is and there is no other, that our level of appreciation and our level of gratitude and our level of acceptance would skyrocket, right? It would, because if this is all that there is and there is nothing else, there's nothing to complain about. There's no one to blame. There's nothing to criticize. There's only opportunity and openness and willingness to see what's in front of us, to see the people who are in front of us. And out of that, then we'll be able to actually live our lives in a way that is satisfying to us. Because we're not constantly on the climb. We're not constantly seeking after things. We're not constantly holding up ourselves to a standard set by somebody else, because this is all there is, right? So this is the prevailing question. What if this is all there is? What if we were to throw out all of the things that we criticize? What if we were to throw out all of the blame? Mommy. Okay, so my daughter, this is very interesting. Okay, all right. What if we were to throw out all of the blame? Excuse me for a second. 1 second. This is real life happening right now. 1 second. I'm so sorry about that. We're back. Get recentered. Right. Yes. So what if we were to throw out all of the blame and all of the criticism and all of the wanting for more and all of the craving to be something else, to be someone else, and to realize that all that you are right now is enough? Yeah? I know that's something that women in our lives, we struggle with a lot, that maybe we're not enough. And the feeling of lack and that the feeling of wanting to grow, wanting to be more than we are, is unsettling. It's disconcerting. We face that time and time again, and it stops us in our tracks from really moving forward with our lives in a way that honors who we truly are at our core, right? And so, again, holding up that question, what if this is it? What if nothing else? What if what we're experiencing right now really is all that there is? And this is the meaning that we can take from it, that it is enough, I'm enough, and this moment right here that we have is enough. It doesn't have to be anything else. We don't have to subject it to scrutiny. We don't have to search for something to make it more. What if we just accepted it? What if we could just sit in this moment and take a breath and really breathe in our heart from a place of love and from a place of passion, a place of acceptance, a place of honor and integrity, that this moment that we have right now is a gift, and a meaningful gift. One thing that us women, we struggle with in terms of understanding and accepting ourselves, and therefore understanding and accepting others, is compassion. We're very quick to thank you, Shani. We're very quick to be critical. We're critical of who we are, right? We're critical of ourselves more than anybody else is. We are our biggest critics, it's often said. And so just stopping for a second and allowing ourselves to be. We're caught up every day in the doing of life, right? We have to run here and be and do mother things. We have to do career things. We have to do work things. We have to constantly do and do and do and do. But in all the doing, we sort of lose the beingness, right? And I'll tell you, I guess it's a secret, but not really. One of the things that makes life and business work is being able to being able to be a channel for somebody else, being able to be a light, being able to be love in action, being, right? As a soul, we are beings. And in our human bodies, we end up becoming doings. We're rushing here, we're busy all the time. We gotta do, we gotta make, we gotta meet, we gotta do. And the beingness gets lost. There's a disconnect between who we present ourselves to be by all the doing and who we are with ourselves when we go to sleep at night, or when we're trying to commune with God, or we're trying to connect with somebody else, or we feel that disconnect, right? Then our beingness really becomes important, because all the doing doesn't fill that up, right? So in all of the doing comes all of the measuring, and we measure ourselves against what the doing should look like and should feel like and should result in. So since we're working really hard, we expect that we should be making more money. Since we're creating things, we expect that people should be buying. Since we're giving and meeting perceived needs of other people, we expect the reciprocation. We expect and we expect and we expect based on the doing. But oftentimes that doesn't pan out, right? So the things that we're doing and the expectations that we have does not result in what we expect to happen. And we become critical of ourselves, and we become hard on ourselves, and we find it hard to forgive ourselves, whereas we can easily forgive other people. And I find that for women, there's this call about self-esteem and self-esteem and self-esteem, and I love self-esteem. I've dealt with self-esteem for a number of years in research and work and practice. But I find that self-esteem and working on self-esteem tends to wear off. It doesn't stick as well as being able to see and to realize that as a being, we have to be compassionate to ourselves, right? We have to really accept that where we are on our path, since we're in the what is, the moment of now, since we're in this now, we're doing the best that we can. We're doing the best that we can. And oftentimes we have that what is it called? That 2020 vision, looking backwards, where we can see perfectly what we aren't and what we didn't do and how we could have done better. But in that moment, in this moment, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm trying to bring the best message that I have in me to reach people. And maybe 5 months from now, I look back and cringe. I'm like, oh my God, why did I say that? Why did I do that? But in this moment, I know that I'm doing the best that I can, right? And so 5 months from now, looking back, I can feel good knowing that I did the best that I can, although it might not be my potential, the best potential that I have. In this moment, Susaye Rattigan is operating at her best. And being able to see and to understand and to accept that is a form of self-compassion that is really, 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 really needed. That we really need to allow ourselves to feel, allow ourselves to be, allow ourselves to just know that this path here, this journey of life is really long. And every moment is here for our good. And every moment we are learning to do and to be better. We're learning to truly get back to the core of our being. When we came here as a soul, we had all of this information in ourselves about who our best selves were. Over time, it sort of got impacted by our interactions with people and expectations, things we read, messages, silent and overt messages that people gave us about our enoughness. And we sort of accepted it and held on tightly to it. But at our core, in our being, we are enough. You are enough. I am enough. And because you're enough and because you're alive, you are deserving of the benefit of doubt or self-compassion. That in this moment, in your enoughness, you are doing the best that you can. And there's nothing you could do different. There's nothing that you could do better. And because you're enough and because you're doing the best that you can, all the things that you're experiencing, the good things and the bad things, are perfect. They're part of the path, and there's nothing wrong with the experience of them. Some things we would prefer to be different, but they're not. They are. And Byron Katie, who I love and who's somebody that if you have a chance you should really look into, writes a book called Loving What Is. Loving what is. Loving the present moment. Being able to accept things as they are and accept things as they come. And not making yourself wrong or someone else wrong for the experience that you're having. Because ultimately, when we step into an experience and we are able to say yes to it, regardless of what the experience looks like, and just really sit in it and harness the lessons and all the thoughts and the feelings that come with that, then we're able to appreciate each instance for what it is and not what we hope it would be, not that we wished it would be or think it could be, but what it actually is. And so in these bad moments, we can see that all things are working for us, right? That all things are happening because we need them for growing up somehow. Nothing, no experience is wasted. I love that. No experience is wasted. Everything holds endless potential for impacting us and moving us forward along the path, for transcending into our divine personas. Right? So the one practice that I wanted to share with you, and I'll share it in a form of meditation, the practice of self-compassion. Okay, so if you will, just join me in closing your eyes and taking 3 deep breaths. Okay. Every moment is perfect. You're a divine being with a divine purpose, with a divine message, with a core worth. There's nothing that happens to you or happens through you that is not meant to happen. There's nothing that happens through you that is not for you. In this moment, you're doing the best that you can, given what you know. Offer yourself forgiveness. You can say, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for whatever it is that you need to forgive yourself for not loving myself enough, for not giving myself the benefit of the doubt, for not trusting that I am exactly where I need to be, for not trusting that this moment is for me and all things are happening for me, not against me. I forgive myself and I release it to God or to the universe. Ask for strength to continue along this path, to continue to just be. I'm deserving. Right. So this practice. It's a practice. Over time, it will become more natural, more automatic to you to forgive yourself of things that you're sitting with, that are sitting in your soul and not really feeling good to you, or you're constantly worrying about and replaying in your mind and going over and over and over again. Just offer yourself the presence, offer yourself the forgiveness, offer yourself the strength and divine wisdom and divine guidance to move forward, and just to accept that in this moment, all that there is, you're all that you are meant to be. Right? So that's the first practice I wanted to share with you. All right. So self-compassion offers you a way to be, a way to do things that sort of relieve yourself of the pressure that you normally place yourself under, or I'll speak for myself, place myself under, when I'm able to be compassionate to myself, when I'm able to really forgive myself for the things that I'm holding, and just to know that right now I'm doing the best that I can and ask for guidance and wait for the guidance to happen. Then I can take the burden and the pressure off of myself of being more and trying to do more and be what everybody else wants and operate in the time frame that I have set for myself or that other people have set for myself. And what this translates into is an easiness and a flow and a peace through life, right? Now, how can we build a life and a business from that place? How can we take that peace, that self-awareness, that self-forgiveness, and that acceptance and create a life that looks good to us? Well, as divine beings, we're already equipped with an understanding of what our soul really wants, right? We have those feelings when things aren't right. We have that intuition. A lot of us, some more fine-tuned than others, can tell either by the tingling feelings in our body or by our physical bodies. Our physical bodies also speak to us about what it doesn't want, what it does want. And so if we pay attention to those signs and those signals that our body sends and that the universe sends us, God sends us, then we'll also be better equipped to create lives that are resonant with who we are at our core. Okay, so I want to give you a three-step process. To help you to create the life that and the business that you want. And I'm from a place of soulfulness and connection, so it works both ways for business and for life, because business is just really a way to interact with people a different way. Same way we interact with people we're in relationship with our partners, with our children. That's one way of relating to the world. Business is another way of relating to the world, another way of creating relationships just around either your message for people who are healers and coaches, or around your products for people who are product-based. But it's really just a conversation, a relationship about how to meet people's needs, right? So let's break it down that way. All right, so we come into the world and we develop stories. Our life experiences help us to create a way that we interact with other people. The same way we categorize cars, we categorize animals, we categorize experiences. And in a certain extent, it makes it easier for us to predict what can happen, but it also makes it easier for us to know how to interact with other people, right? But a lot of times our stories don't serve us, at least in this moment. They may have served us then, but they don't serve us now. And when we stay tied to our stories, then it makes it more difficult for us to create lives that look different than the ones that we have now, or to create businesses that look different. You hear people talk about money stories and being stuck, having blocks, money blocks, emotional, psychological blocks. And these blocks originate from the stories that we have accepted as our own, or we've experienced and held on to. And so the first step to understanding and envisioning, creating the life and the business that we want is to understand that we are divine, right? That we are divine, that we have purpose, that the universe is really open to us, that we can create what we want, our experiences, and largely in simplified form, that everything that happens, if we accept it as what it is, that we can take away the negatives or the positives from it and give it our own meaning. Everything can be positive and everything can be negative, right? So we're divine. We have the universe at our disposal. We are connected to God. We're connected to the universe, and we're ultimately connected to the other people who we interact with daily. And we can choose how to shine our light. We can choose how we show up. So owning that is the first step. Own that you're divine, right? Own that the things that are happening in your life right now are largely your interpretation, whether they're good or bad. Second is those stories that we talked about earlier, we can dissociate from them. We don't have to continue to own them and to hold on to them and to perpetuate them. Like Yeshenia talked about, that she was able to change, to rewrite her story. We have the capacity to rewrite our own individual stories, right? Nothing is set in stone right now. You may have experienced an abusive relationship before. That does not make you an abused woman unless you hold on to that story. Yes, that was an experience, and in that moment you did the best that you could. But in this moment, you can choose to no longer own that story. You can choose to rewrite it. You can choose to become a woman that has experienced a number of things that have shown you how to become resilient, that has shown you how to be resourceful, how to be creative, how to take pressure under fire, and build from there. And if you're that woman, what can you create out of that? What can your life become, right? So you don't no longer take that into your future. So dissociate from the stories. Understand that the stories are narratives of things that have happened, right? They hold powerful lessons if we just pay attention to that. They also hold powerful lessons for good in terms of these are the strengths that we have deep within us, and when pressured can come up. Or that these are things that we know that we are not willing and able to tolerate anymore, and we're letting go. We're forgiving ourselves for it being that experience and the thoughts that we've taken on as a result of these experiences, but we also have the power to no longer carry them. And so understand your divine being with infinite capacity to create change and transformation in yourself, in others. And that those stories that have been taught to you or that you've experienced and that you've owned are no longer useful, and you can dissociate from them. And step 3 is to create a dream, create a vision. Nothing happens and nothing long-lasting happens without a vision, right? When God was creating the world, he had a vision, right? And he used his words to speak it into being. And similarly, as divine beings, we have the capacity to vision, to create a vision for our lives, to create a vision for our business, and then to speak it, to write it, to create it. We have that capacity as well. So what is your dream? What is your vision? Right? Have one and really own that vision, because it's yours. And out of that can come the life of abundance and satisfaction and fulfillment and purpose that you are yearning for, that your soul is yearning for. And because you already own that you're a divine being and you're paying attention and you're aware and sitting in the moment, right guidance will come to you. Right people will come into your path, right? Or you'll be connected with them who can help you to create this vision, to help make this life a reality, right? You'll be directed to go here or to not go there. Paying attention to your intuition, you get direction, right? You'll get guidance. Books will fall off the shelves, as it's happened to me. Books will fall off the shelves. You're like, how does book fall off the shelf? Well, books will fall off the shelf that you need in that moment. Lights, you'll receive the guidance that you need, and that's a part of trusting that you are a divine being and a part of a collective of divine beings who are guided by God or guided by the universe. Right, so back to the 3 steps. Accept that you are a divine being with an infinite capacity for transcending. Dissociate from your stories. Let go of them. Accept that they're no longer serving you. Forgive yourself. release. And the third step is to create a vision. And then within creating a vision, own it, share it, write about it, try to breathe it in, live in it, sit in meditation in silence with the vision. Bring it up, call it every day, and you'll be surprised how you'll manifest that life, that business. I mean, I don't want to just say manifest as in it's going to magically just pop up out the air, but you will have right guidance, direction, create intuitive creativity. People talk about downloading, because then when you're in connection with yourself and with the God, with the universe, then you get that inspiration to create things, right? To reach out to a certain person. So those are my 3 steps to help you to create the life and the business that you'll feel good about. Right? You know that we're 30 minutes in. I don't know if there are any questions or anything like that. Okay. Do I have an offer? All right. Okay. So Yushania introduced me a little bit earlier, and I work with entrepreneurs who are purposeful and are passionate about building a business that has transformative effects, that transforms and changes the world. It's who I call soulful entrepreneurs, or heart-based businesses. And I work with entrepreneurs of heart-based, soulful businesses to get really clear on what their message is, what it is that they feel like they have to share with the world, and how to take that message and to transfer it into their business so that they can actually have the words to speak with other people about what they do. And so how they can speak with other people about what they do, and how they can write it if they need to communicate it on their website or through any other form of information product. Now, I have a 1 session offer that it's called Resonant. It's branding and messaging. Brand messaging, or branding and messaging for soulful entrepreneurs. And in Resonant is actually a 90-minute session where entrepreneurs come with me, and we go through a creative visioning process where we actually develop the vision for their business. We tease out their messaging, what is at their soul, what is at the heart of who they are, what is in their core, what messages they have to share, who they have to share it with, how would they like to share it, what is best suited to their soul and to the business that they want to create, so that they develop a message that is not only easy for them to relate to, but that they can speak in words to other people so that their ideal clients can be attracted to them. So over 90 minutes, we'll go through that creative visioning process and develop a solid, bite-sized, easy to digest, relatable message. And then 2 weeks later, we'll come back together for what I call a touchstone, where we can just review the message and all the changes that have happened since we've met and you've gone out into the world and interacted with other people. Right. So that usually is $497, but since we're on this summit, I'd like to make an offer to you guys. If you're interested in getting really, really clear on what your message is and who the message is for and how to best say it in the way that other people are attracted, come and work with me for $297. Wow, that's crazy. For $297. I'm sure Yushania will give you the details about how to communicate with me, but I've also made available my ebook. It's a book that is the starting process to getting really clear on what your long-term message is in your business. And it's 5 simple steps to get clear on your message in 30 minutes or less. And so it takes you through a basic bare bones of my process of getting clear on who you are and who your ideal client is, what you want to share with them. So 2 things. The ebook will be available to you, and also if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, the my Resonant package is available for $297 to you. Okay, Edith's asking, what are some other ways to change your story? That's a good question. What are some other ways to change your story? I don't know that I get that question. Um, or wait, what are some ways to change your story? Well, um, I said ultimately it's your story. You decide. But you can just go through list out the experiences that you have that you feel are really core to who you are. They're core to your being. These are the events that have made you you, and just look at them for what they are, or what interpretations you have placed on them, and sort of tear that apart and question it. Is that what it really meant? Is there anything else that it could mean? How can I best use this experience to strengthen myself? What lessons have I taken from it? What lessons are still yet to be taken? And one, take away the power that the story has had over you by just dissecting it and looking at what really is, and love it for what it is, accept it for what it is, right? Some stories, no matter how you go through it, will not serve you, and you can just forgive yourself for having that experience, forgive yourself for taking the meaning from that experience that you've taken, and release it, right? When I work in my practice with clients who've had traumatic experiences, interpersonal violence, stuff like that, we go through a process of writing, right? Where we write out the story as many times as humanly possible, and go through it, read it out loud. And what happens is the story begins to lose its power, and then you can take it and work with it, make it into something that empowers you. What steps do you recommend in finding a balance in doing and just being? Okay. All right. That's a good question. I like that question. All right. We're always being, right? We're always being. And so it's not necessarily finding a balance between doing and being, but just remembering that in the doing, we are still being. A lot of times we forget that we're being, and then we just keep doing and doing and doing and doing and doing, and then our cup gets empty, and our well gets empty. But if we can just remember from time to time, from moment to moment, you can set it on your phone every hour or something, to just stop and to just be, just to observe the moments, to breathe. And remember that all things are happening right now for us. And we can get back to the doing, right? But just remember that the doing has a purpose. The doing has a purpose to meet physical goals on this physical plane. But as a soul, we're always being. And we always have to refill and always have to connect with ourselves and connect with other human beings and connect with God, right? Connect with the universe. But always, we have to remember that we're always being, always being. And so when you realize that the doing is exceeding your awareness of yourself as a soul and as a part of the collective unconscious, then the doing is too much. All right. What if I am constantly in contact with someone who keeps my story alive and I want to move beyond it? All right. Then you have to make the tough decision of letting go of that person. If, for example, you've made attempts at you've made attempts at letting them know that you're no longer your story and they cannot move past it, then that's their challenge. And you have to do what keeps you in integrity with your soul and where your soul is going, right? And so sometimes you just have to say bye. Bye. And it doesn't mean that you're mad at them or it's negative. It's just sometimes you can't hold on to all those things. Just like we're letting go of some of the meanings of the stories that we've carried. Some people are representative of those stories and are not ready to be different. And if they're not ready to be different, we can bless them and let them go. I think. All right. Is there no other questions? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Uh, I like I was dialoguing with my coach while you were presenting, and I was like, forget everybody else. This was for me. This really was for me. I got so much pointers. I have my notebook here.
Good.
It's like I wrote, we get lost in doing, we forget just to be. I wrote powerful. Just
Mm,
be, Shania. Because I can be brutal on myself.
mm-hmm.
My partner
Yeah.
will tell you, you'll be like, come on.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's just that, when you're used to just being measured, and you spoke about that, there's always this comparison with the other person. But what if this is really it? Then life would be so much simpler. I could just
Yes.
let it just hang, and who cares?
Right.
It,
Right.
it,
Yeah.
it was such a powerful presentation, Susaye. I hope you don't take it lightly. I didn't. In that meditation, I was crying.
Oh.
Uh, it really was powerful. It impacted me, and I'm glad I availed myself to,
Yes.
just to open up and realize, because there are a lot of times that we don't understand, or we think we have dealt with certain things, but right in that moment when I'm just letting it be, I had flashbacks of stuff that I thought I released.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in that moment, it was okay. I operated from my best, and that's all I had at that point, and it was okay, and it still is
Right.
okay.
Right.
Rightly said. Those persons who keep going back to that old book, too bad. That
Right.
book has ended. We're on to the next edition.
Right.
I love it.
Right.
Loved it. I loved it. Guys,
Oh,
if you
thank you.
love this, I'll be sending out her information this evening with the recording. Keep it. I'll be replaying it. I suggest you do the same too. It was nothing short of powerful. Avail yourself.
Mm,
Just be. If
just
you
be.
take
Just be.
nothing from today's session, just be.
Mm,
I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for being our presenter this evening. And there you have it. We have wrapped up day 5 of the Owning Your Abundant Life Summit.
yes.
Oh,
Uh,
so, just want to thank you guys for taking the time out again. And like I said, I will be sending out her information. The offer, guys, jump on it. 497 to 297.
yeah.
I will.
Just do.
So, thank you guys. Thank you, Susaye, and have a beautiful evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ishani.